Hello and welcome to A Wheel Thing TV. I'm Dave Knoll. This week we're checking out the 2017 Toyota Corolla Hybrid Hatch. It pretty much looks like any other Toyota Corolla hatch that you'll see out on the road in the 2016-2017 body shape. But a little bit of a hint, we've got this blue hue to the badge on the bonnet. A couple of hints pinched from the ZR as well. And here's the important part. That little badge just there. On the inside at first glance it looks just like a normal Corolla hatch until we move in the inside. And it's these little buttons down here in the center console that tell the story. EV, Eco and Power. And then we go a little bit further north. You ever seen one of those before? Where you'd normally find a tacho on the dash, you have your Charge or Eco or Power button. And again, a blue hue to the start button there, foot on the brake, press that, everything lights up. And nothing, apart from the radio of course, which we'll get rid of. And a few start-up noises, and here's a very important part of it. We have a slightly different drivetrain here. Now what happens is that we have this, which requires to be pushed across to either reverse or drive, and I personally in a way think that's kind of counterintuitive, in that if you want to go forward you'd have drive there, and if you want to go backwards, reverse would be this way. But we're staying with convention and that you go backwards with an auto, because it is an electronically controlled constant variable transmission in this particular car. Energy monitor on here, and as you can see there is a little bit of battery charge that has been used, and that for this particular trip at the time of recording we've covered 521 k's. Now what will happen is that into drive, now when the car's actually underway, what will happen is that you'll see arrows from either the charge into the wheel, or when it's getting regenerative energy, it'll come back from the wheel into the battery. But generally what you'll find, and this is where the car actually falls down, is that where you have this little icon here for the engine up at the top right, you'll actually see that generating power going from there across into the wheel and also down into the battery itself. The whole idea, in my opinion, of a car that is meant to be a hybrid is that you use the battery more often than you'd have the power from the petrol engine running. Having said that, the fuel economy figures are quoted at somewhere around 4 litres per 100 kilometres. This has been averaging just over 5, so it's still not terribly uneconomic. It's just that it probably could be just that little bit better and closer to the real world figures that the company quotes if you use the battery section more often than not. And what also happens is that when you accelerate, even if you choose your EV button here, which is lit up on the dash, it will get up to 30 k's an hour, and then automatically the petrol engine will cut in. Well, that kind of again defeats the purpose of what having a battery powered car is all about. That's my opinion. Stop the car. Well, there's actually no park brake involved in the lever here. As you can see, it's electronic park brake there just by pressing that button, and that will properly engage the car. It still has, as a backup, your standard old style in the way of having a handbrake there. Out on the road, the Corolla Hybrid Hatch is a very good handler. It does have slightly smallish tyres. It does sometimes feel, especially with the wet weather that Sydney's been having recently, that it just doesn't feel like it's going to quite grip properly, but it never actually does lose grip. The suspension, it's a double wishbone rear, and of course McPherson struts up the front, and it really does absorb most of the everyday irregularities of a road quite nicely. For a car that's priced from around $27,000 plus on-road costs, and it actually does steal some features from the ZR hatch, for example, our satellite navigation, the drive alerts that it comes up with, there's any road issues, for example. It's a very good and a very well priced package. So definitely check it out, www.toyota.com.au, and follow the links to your various choice of cars, and in this case, the Corolla Hybrid Hatch. For A Wheel Thing TV, I'm Dave Knoll.